Why is insurance so high? Like, please, someone explain to me, if you work in this industry, why are your prices extortionate? So I passed this time last year. I got my car a week before I passed, thinking there would be no issues at all. So I was picking my car up the day after I passed, whether I passed or failed, day after my test. I was picking my car up, but obviously I did pass my test, and I was trying to get insured the morning of to bring my car home. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to drive my car back. I was getting my car from CarStore in Warrington, so it was like obviously a drive to get there and a drive back. I couldn't just get someone to drive my car back for me. I had to be insured on it. No insurance company would insure me. None. Only this one, and it was Admiral, and I rang them, and that's the only way I could get my insurance. So I rang them. I had to get someone else on the policy, another car insured with them, and like house insurance in order to get insured with them. It was so weird. So yeah, I ended up getting my insurance with them, and the price was ridiculous. Like, it was horrific. I'm not even sharing figures, but it was awful. So obviously I've been driving a year. I've got a year's no claims. I did have an accident, but it was proved not my fault. If you're watching this and you crash into me, you know who you are. I hate you so much. I was without my car for 2 months. I was heartbroken. I'd only been driving 3 weeks. Like, to the day. It was the day I passed my test 3 weeks later. So I was driving, and some man, he was literally tailgating me. Here's my car, and here he was. If I braked, he was going into the back of me. I went to move over lanes, but I couldn't because someone was coming off the slip road. He's floored his car thinking I was going into this lane. I literally stayed where I was because I couldn't move, otherwise I would have been sandwiched. He floored his car and couldn't slow down quick enough. He is literally, like, my car was here, he has done that. My car's spun on a 60-mile-per-hour road. Like, this was traumatic for someone who had only been driving 3 weeks, and I had no idea what had happened at all. I was, like, in shock. I didn't have a clue how he just hit me. Me being, like, Delulu, thought he'd just swiped my wing mirror off, and I thought, oh my god, he's just knocked my wing mirror off, like, what an idiot. I've got out of the car, and my car's completely ruined. Like, my alloy is smashed in, my steering's like this, my steering arm snapped, my whole door's just, like, caved in. It was not good. I've got out of the car, and he had the audacity to ask me if I was insured on the car. Obviously, I was insured on the car. He also asked if it was my car. Like, I'd be driving someone else's car. So I've rang my parents straight away, and they've obviously came, and he was horrible, by the way. And then this car has pulled up, and I was like, oh, it might be like a relative of his or something. It was a woman that had seen the accident. She was actually a police officer. She seen the whole thing. She's then carried on because it was obviously too fast for the road to stop. She's carried on. She's gone all the way back round to come and, like, give me her statement of what happened. And then it all kind of made sense as to why I was on the side of the road crying my eyes out because someone just hit me. It made sense. So luckily I had a witness, otherwise I know for a fact this would have went 50-50, by the way, 100%. You'd think because of where he initially hit me at the back, it should have already been his fault, because if you hit someone from the back of the car in the back quarter, it is normally the other person's fault. Anyway, we went for like 2 months. I was without my car for 2 months. By the way, as someone who's only just passed the test, their first car is like their pride and joy. Like, this car is literally my baby. Like, it sounds stupid, but I was heartbroken over this car. No one knew whether it was going to be wrote off, whether I was going to get it back, when I was going to get it back, nothing. I was on the phone to the insurance company every single day fighting my grind. I was like, this is what's happened. This is not my fault. Please give me a courtesy car. Give me a car so I can get behind the wheel, otherwise I'm never going to go behind the wheel again. They said I was too young for a courtesy car, even though it was on my insurance that I should have a courtesy car. I was too young to have one. I hadn't been driving long enough. Anyway, this whole Delulu thing happened. He was claiming that it weren't his fault, and the insurance was just going back and two, back and two. So this was like the most stressful time in my life. I was like, I'm never going to get insured on my car again if it comes back 50-50. Like, there's no way. Like, my insurance was already sky high. Anyway, it come back not... I've gone off track, but it come back not my fault. I got a courtesy car for a week just before Christmas. Then my car was fixed. It's come back. Everything was fine. I've then, months and months and months have gone by. I've then come to renew my insurance. I wanted to go with Hastings because they were unreal with me. Like, when I had the accident, they were answering the phone every single day. They were, like, supporting me. They were like, if you need anything, just let us know, blah, 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 blah. So I was like, yeah, like, they know the accident was not my fault. Like, my insurance will go down. I've got a year's no claims. They sent me through that I had a year's no claims anyway. So I thought my insurance won't be too high. They tried charging me £4,000. £4,000! I said I weren't going to speak about figures, but £4,000. I then shopped about a bit because I was like, surely I can get cheaper. By the way, this is with a black box. Like, most young drivers get a black box, obviously, to bring their insurance down because it's stupid, the price. I'd understand if the accident was actually my fault. I'd understand that it was so high, but it wasn't. We literally went to court to argue this as well, and the lawyers and everything said, like, this is not my fault. So I shopped around for a bit, and I got a quote for £3,000 cheaper. Like, that is ridiculous. So I've rang Admiral and I said, listen, like, I've got a new quote, I've got a new insurance, I'm gonna leave the policy. That's then, this is why I know they're scamming me. They were like, oh no, I'm really sorry to hear that, like, don't leave us, we can try and tweak the price. They've then tried to give me it for £2,000. That is £2,000 lower than what they were going to give me it for. I know these, like, quotes and stuff are auto-generated, like, it just goes off the prices and stuff like that. But £2,000 is, like, a big difference just to change it to get someone to stay with your insurance. Like, that is ridiculous. So I've ended up going with a complete different company, and I've also got a black box, but they were actually offering me lower than what Admiral was with a black box. Without a black box. They were offering me lower. Like, that's ridiculous. I've obviously put through that I've had an accident, and I've explained it to this new insurance exactly what happened, and I've got proof that it weren't my fault. Like, I've got it in a certificate. But anyway, the moral of this video was, like, why is insurance so high? I get if someone has an accident, they put your insurance up because you're more likely to obviously claim and stuff like that. But this whole accident was not my fault. And even before I even had an accident, the insurance was already sky high. And, like, when you're young, obviously, I weren't even 18 yet when I first got this car. I know the insurance was obviously going to be a lot higher than what it would if I was, like, 23 or something like that. But, like, I passed my test for a reason. Like, and driving tests aren't easy to pass either. Like, they don't just pass anybody. Like, in fact, they're strict to the point, like, they'd rather fail you than pass you because, like, the littlest things and boom, you're done. But yeah, I honestly don't understand why they've gone from £4,000 to £2,000 in the space of a 2-minute phone call. They were doing everything they can in order for me to stay, but I'd already bought this other price because as the days go on, the insurance goes up. I just think it's horrific how much they charge people to get insured on a car. Like, I need my car to get to A to B, from A to B. Like, there's nothing else. But yeah, I've had my rant now. I didn't expect this to go on for so long, but I just need to know if anyone else is having this issue. Even if I didn't have an accident, I still feel like it would still be the same price. But yeah, I'm sorry for, if you're still watching, then thank you, because I've just waffled like absolute shit. But yeah, moral of the story, fuck insurance, because it's honestly a joke.